Good Saturday morning, everyone. You're listening to Red Zone Radio Sports here on WQBQ 1410, the voice of Lake County. And today we have a couple of guests in the arena.
I'll tell you what, this is fantastic. Like I said, we were fortunate enough last week. We had George Infeld, and he was involved with the traveling Leesburg Traveling Soccer Club and the Leesburg High School. Right. But we have the guru of the villages with us, and our special guest is Anderson DaSilva. To give him if you want to find out what a good-looking guy is, he's on page 4 today of the Villages Daily Sun sports page with 4 of his players who are going to be playing some. They're going on to play some college soccer, which I think is a phenomenal accomplishment. And we also have Randy Van Alstine, who is. I won't call him our interpreter. He's our soccer interpreter because I start to say things. I start to say things that don't make sense, and I have to hand it over to Randy. And I'm going to do that again. But Anderson, we're thrilled to have you. And like I said, obviously your accomplishments speak for themselves. But Randy's going to get into them with you and to talk a little bit about your past and how you became the big major influence in men's soccer in the villages that you are now. So take it away, Randy.
Hey, thanks, Bob. And thanks again, Red Zone Radio, for inviting us and speaking a little bit about soccer, because it is a great sport. It's what they call the beautiful game. And Greg, today it's not the arena, not for the first hour. It's the pitch.
The pitch?
We're on the pitch.
Okay.
And we're on the pitch and on the sideline with the great coach, Anderson DaSilva. Coach, first, share with us at least a little bit. You know, you're from Brazil, and a little bit about how you came to America, and your success both as a player and now as a coach.
Yeah, sure. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me here.
Sure.
Yeah, it's my passion, my life. I grew up in Brazil. I played for youth academies, including professional youth academy in Brazil until I was 18. That I moved to U.S. My goal was to move on and play professional soccer over there, and that transition happens between 18 and 19, where you play in a team similar to what's PDL is here in the country.
All right.
It's a professional development team. That's when I moved here, and when I moved here, it was 19 years ago. Soccer wasn't this big.
Wasn't around.
Yeah, I remember just trying to watch a MLS game. It was really hard to find. Yeah, I think at that time, even MLS league, they used to pay to have their games televised.
Sure,
I think
sure.
it was, now, it's way different. I remember they used to pay about $3 million to have their games televised. Now they make hundreds of millions of dollars just to have their games. But I got invited by a friend, Jason Angle, just to coach.
Right.
And he said, "Hey, you played soccer in Brazil, and can you coach my team?" I remember it was a U9 team, and I coached that first day, and I really liked the teaching part. I didn't know I was gonna fall in love with teaching the game, and he said, "Can you volunteer and help us?" And I really liked the team that was trained, and I stayed there for 4 years coaching, and since then I never stopped. I really started coaching very young. Usually soccer players, they stop playing around 35 and then they start coaching.
Right.
With me, once I got here, I started coaching, and I really like it. I kept playing just for fun, but that's why I have a good history on the coaching side.
Well, certainly your success as a coach, just as Bob was talking about. I mean, it's right there in the sports page. You have four young men that are headed off to the collegiate level from the Villages High School or Villages Charter High School, underneath your guidance, and that says a lot for you as a coach and as your team, because you have a great team and you have a great coaching staff. There's no doubt about that. About 10 or 15 years ago, here soccer in Lake County, there was just Lake County soccer, and it's not taking anything away from them. It's a great program out there. And but for kids that really wanted to play a little bit more higher level soccer, there really wasn't anything readily available here. And so you were pretty much into the rec league, and then if you wanted anything more, you really had to head towards Orlando or Tampa. And then probably about 10 or 11 years ago, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the Villages Soccer Club that's when you started it. And it just had, a dozen or a couple dozen kids. And then eventually some kids that wanted to play higher level soccer started migrating from the recreational leagues and then coming over to you. And then now, I mean, goodness gracious, you got hundreds of kids now in your programs, right?
Yes, correct.
And you also have some groups that are sort of underneath the umbrella of the Villages Soccer Club. Leesburg, I think, is one of them. There might be some other ones, but it speaks volumes for your love of the game, because you come to America as a player, and then you start off as a volunteer coach, and then you really fell in love with the coaching aspect of it, and so that coupled with your love for the game, well, here we are today.
Yeah.
And you have a great successful program right here in our community. We're certainly thankful for it, because
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful sport. Folks, if you have not gone out to a soccer game, the Villages Soccer Club, you need to get out there. The season's fixing to start here next month, and we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. But you just started last year was your inaugural season for the Villages SC Soccer Club, right? And you played, the home field is up there in the Polo Fields up in the Villages.
Sure.
And so if you have not been out there, folks, it is a beautiful,
Gorgeous.
beautiful venue.
Gorgeous
It is the best place to watch a soccer game ever.
Thank
it
you,
really,
thank you,
really
thank
is.
you. No, it
Arguably
is.
the polo game too, I guess. But for soccer, it is awesome. Of course, and then you also have the Labor Day Soccer Cup that you guys started putting on 2-3 years ago, and that's been a great success as well. But tell us a little bit about your inaugural season with Villages SC and the success that it had.
Yeah, I wanted to, if you don't mind, I want to just kind of go back a little bit and give a little bit of the history of the Villages Soccer Club.
Sure.
And we can get to the PDL inaugural as well. When I moved here, I was the director coach for Orlando Soccer Club, which we had 850 kids, about 850 there. And the high school, the Villages High School, they were looking for a coach. And so then I was invited just to come and watch a game to see how I felt. And I remember getting there, and it was not a really good game. We got a mercy rule on that game. And then I heard the coach from the other team saying, "Guys, we're only allowed to score with our heads now." And when I heard that, I thought to myself, no, these kids, they need help. I'm going to stay. It became my mission. I said, I have to come stay here and help these kids. And so then I took the job as the Villages high school coach. And there was no travel team around. I created one team, and we had to travel 40 minutes just to have our traveling games.
Oh boy!
And to go 3 times a week, to travel that far, it was, it wasn't fun. It was hard to get parents to commit, to.
It's another level of commitment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I never lost, as a coach of the Village High School at that time, I never lost so many games in my life. I would go home with my head hurting, my stomach hurting. I would tell my wife, I said, wow, what is this? And I said, you know what? We got to start a club here. Because if we don't develop, our athletes, we're never going to get better. And that's when I decided to start the Villages Soccer Club. I remember the first year, it was so hard to get, players to play. I said, look, just play, Okay, if you never play, just go over there. Just stay on the field. And
That's where I would be.
we needed 50 players to start our own affiliation with Florida Youth Soccer Association and U.S. Soccer. And to get 50 kids at that time in the villages was so hard.
Oh boy!
And I got, I just made some flyers, and every kid I would see around the village, I would just stop them and say, look, you want to play soccer? And no, I never played. No problem. I'll teach you. So then I finally got that 50 players. I remember our first meeting, club meeting, to start the affiliation. I set up all the tables after handing out flyers. 4 people showed up. You know, that's a club meeting. Now, when we host a meeting, we have hundreds of people. So we did it. I advised the school for us to start a futsal program, starting on an intermediate level, middle school, going all the way up. And now, for the past 3 years, we won our district title.
Wow.
This year, the last 2 years, we won undefeated. And there's not a lot of competition now. We have to travel a little bit further to find a good competition in our district. You know, everything changed now.
I was just going to say, isn't that amazing? You know, I wanted to ask you, and I don't want to get too far off the track, but here you are playing in Brazil, and you played with, it's almost kids are raised on it in soccer.
Yeah.
Now you're dealing with kids, like you said, you go in the street corner and they go, I don't even know what it is. You're going to stand over there and I'm going to show you. I mean, what challenges did that present to you? I mean, that you have to have the patience of Job to be able to go out there and deal with people that have never played. I mean, I would think it would be tough to instruct kids that had some basic skills, but now you have to not only coach them, you have to teach them the skills first, and then coach them once they have the skills to play. That sounds like a real undertaking.
No, it is, and I think a lot of coaches and they get frustrated when they're trying to coach a team tactically, but they don't have the technical skills. That means that they can't do their job as on the tactical side. And for me, the way I think is this: if we're coaches, they don't know how to play yet, and that's why we're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to get to a place or a team where everybody already knows how to pass and coach from there. And for me, it's an opportunity to be a coach. You know, you prove to yourself, like when I arrived in the villages, that they had never won one district game in 7 years, and that was a challenge. That it was an opportunity for me to prove to myself if I was a good of a coach to develop them. I see more as an opportunity than just complain about the skills.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're just getting started with Coach Anderson DaSilva from the Villages Soccer Club, and I'll tell you what, that music means it's time to take a break. But we're going to thank Mr. Bryan and all of our sponsors, and Randy and I will be back with Coach Anderson DaSilva right after this.
All right, you're listening to Red Zone Radio here on WQBQ 1410, the voice of Lake County, sponsored by Bill Bryan Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. They are located at 3401 U.S. Highway 441 in Fruitland Park, and we will be right back after these brief messages. Well, we are back with a Red Zone Radio here on WQBQ 1410, the voice of Lake County. And before we get back to Anderson DaSilva and Bob and Randy here, I just wanted to mention that James is going to be at the Leesburg Relay for Life event at Venetian Gardens on Dixie from 2 to 10 p.m. Well, I don't think he's going to be there from 2 to 10, but he's going to be there.
The event's from 2 to 10.
Right.
Yep.
And, they'll be broadcasting live from 2 to 4.
Oh, there you go.
Or 5. They might stay an extra hour there. So stop by and say hello and take a lap around to help raise some funds for cancer.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a great event. Great event.
All right.
Hey, all right. Well, welcome back. I forgot to mention in the first segment, and I apologize, but Coach Anderson, for our listeners out there, he brought in a gift box that we're going to think maybe in the third segment we'll take some callers and perhaps, whatever number caller Coach Anderson selects will be the recipient of this great Villages Soccer Club gift box. And in it is two home game flex tickets So you can go to any one of the PDL games that are in the upcoming schedule, which starts, I think, on May 13th and concludes somewhere around the middle of July. Plenty of home games to choose from. There's a drinking, one of those Traverses, insulated drinks or cups, and then plus a Villages Soccer Club scarf, the soccer club that says the Villages Soccer Club on it, and plus a carb magnet.
Hey,
So anyway, it's probably about a $60 value.
Randy, before you close that box,
Yeah.
hold up that cup because
Oh,
I
sure,
just want to
that's
let
right. I forgot.
everybody know
There it
that
is.
there you go, that we are recording this program and we'll be posting it on the Facebook page.
2 flex tickets, carb magnet, and the great
That's wonderful.
There you go.
Go Buffalo scarf. Let's see
Nice.
if we can get that out there.
And that is, you said that's maybe a $60 value.
It's about
That's
$60 value.
the tickets alone. I think the tickets are what, $8 to $10 a piece, right? I mean that's which is, you can't beat that. For a bargain.
That's great.
To go to see great soccer. My gosh, what a deal! What a deal!
And Coach Anderson's agreed to take some calls as we're having this great discussion about local soccer and his organization. So if anybody wants to give us a call, talk to Coach Anderson, maybe you have a question for him, you can give us a call at 352-315. That's 315-1410.
There you go.
Yep.
315-1410. And Greg will bring you in on the air with us.
Sure.
All right, let's get back to Coach Anderson. Not me.
Just a real quick question though. Did you announce the caller number, or are we not doing that yet?
We'll do that in the third segment.
Okay.
That's all right.
Third segment,
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah, we're going to find out more
Okay.
from Coach DaSilva, and then the third segment we'll go right to the callers.
All
There you
right.
go.
Wonderful.
All right,
Well,
Coach.
yeah, we kind of sidetracked you, but you were explaining some of the challenges as a coach that you have to encounter, especially here. You're dealing with. You have 2 levels of player. You got players that have never even seen a soccer ball that you're trying to recruit them, and now they know what a soccer ball is, and they have to kick it with their feet. Now you got to teach them how to kick it with their feet and keep it away from people.
That's right. It's a job that it's for life. You teach them how to play soccer, but then you teach them off the field as well, and they become your friend, lifetime friend. I have so many kids that I started coaching with the South Orlando that I see now, family, and they come and say hi. I had my first player, actually our last PDL tryout. I saw a player that registered. I was like, wow, that was the first player I ever coached. So he came and said, Coach, I was gonna surprise you, and now he's trying out for PDL. It's unbelievable.
How fantastic is that?
But it's a good place to be.
It's got to be. What a reward! I mean, you get somebody and you remember when they couldn't even walk and chew gum. It's really, and now all of a sudden they're filling you in on where they're trying out and what they're going for. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What a great feeling as a coach that would be.
Yeah, so many players that I coach, not with the village as well. Some of them they had the potential to play for college or even a higher level. They stopped playing, or those that didn't play as good, now they're playing for college or the higher level.
Right.
So it really depends on what they're willing to do, sacrifice for what they want as well.
Sure. Makes sense to me. And we were talking actually, and I'll throw the life's lesson point at you, because I really do think that one of the things the kids learn is how to deal with each other and be with a team and take direction and deal with adversity and the good feel that you have for winning together as a team. I mean, those are all things that are invaluable, I think.
Yes. Sometimes you have a team, you have really good players, but then you may win few games, but you can't win the championship. They really have to come together as a family. They really have to really be willing to run for each other, to go through those hard games, especially when you're in a situation that you're losing and you only have few minutes left. So it's not just about having the stars on the team. It's the chemistry. It's how well they deal with each other off the field as well. I think that's the biggest challenge. When we have the PDL players, you're recruiting them. You're getting the best of the best. I think the biggest challenge I have is, now you're getting players that they can be starters on other teams, and all of a sudden they're gonna be on the bench, or not even get picked to go to the game.
Right.
How can you still make that player happy, and still
There's a good
run
point.
for you
Yeah.
towards the end of the league games, and make a difference?
Right.
But as a coach, we really have to. We have our emotions during the game. We can't say, "Hey, excuse me, would you pass the ball?" No, you scream and you tell them what to do. But then once the game's over, you have to be tough. At the same time, you have to kind of, you have to make them want to run for you.
Sure.
But it's a good.
Are the players at that level? I mean, in your first season, I mean, you've had your players aren't. I mean, they're young men. Some of them are young men, but some of them, they're 20s and in their 30s. And they're fairly well experienced soccer players. How do you? What's your approach to getting them to play harder for you? And I think with kids it's probably a little bit different, but I don't know. But how about young men? I mean, how do you get them to really, you talk about discipline. How do you discipline, for all intents and purposes, a grown man to play harder?
No, look, it's no. For me, I look them as the same as if I'm coaching a high school players, or if I'm coaching a U15 players. I think the only difference is that they have a stronger personality.
Right.
But you can't let them. You have to let them know that this boat has only one captain, which is it's you. They have to follow your order, and if they don't, you might as well have to remove them from the team. Otherwise,
Sure.
you're gonna lose the team.
Right.
Sure.
But you have to get them on what they're there for. Some of them are there to go. They want to go play for a professional team. Some of them are there to get an opportunity for college, and some of them are there just to have a summer workout.
Get some exercise.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes, because they already play for college, and their coach said, we want you guys to stay busy,
Stay in shape.
Go play for a team out there.
Yeah.
So, and then as a club, as a coach, you have a goal, which is to be the champions or make to the finals, and
Sure.
so you really have to find the balance and explain to them our goal up front before they even step on the field, and to see if they're okay with the expectation. And then if they drop the ball, you really have to put them aside and say, look, we like, I'll give an example. We have players from last year. We won the conference, players that got selected the best in the conference, that they're not returning because of not how they did because their performance, is because what they did off the field. So it's a balance.
Gotcha.
You have to teach them, give opportunity, and then if they don't take that opportunity, you have to kind of move on, so then you don't hurt the team.
Gotcha. How many players do you have on your PDL team?
We have about 30 players.
30.
Yes.
Of course, 11 play, right? 11 are starters.
Yeah, we can only take 18 to the games.
Okay.
Yes.
Do me a favor. You're involved with so many different teams. Can you segment them for me and tell them who they are, exactly what the parameters are for that team? I know you got the SC team. I'm trying to keep track.
I got you.
Yeah. So the youngest players you coach right now are whom?
No, the youngest player that I coach now is the high school.
High school
that I coach.
Okay, that's coaching the village's men's soccer.
We have a club that we have a program. We start with 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We have about 80 kids on our recreation program, And then we have about 180 kids on our competitive. Um, and the reason why I stopped coaching competitive is that as a high school coach, you cannot be coaching your high school players on the travel team.
Off
I
season.
see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then I just run the club and have meetings with coaches and explain to them what we want from them. So then when they get to the high school, they kind of have the style that we're looking for, and then and then we have the PDL.
Okay.
PDL is the professional development league team.
Okay.
We have players from 17 all the way to 30 years old.
Okay.
Um,
And how do you try out for that team? Is that open? Is that open? So if somebody came to you and said, I want to play in your PDL team, is it that easy, or do you have to say, well, we have to fit you in and see if you're a good fit?
we recruit players in several different ways. We have recommendation from college coaches.
Okay.
We have players themselves sending us videos. I watched over 1,000 videos this season.
Oh my goodness.
It's
I can only imagine. I can only imagine what that's like.
We get requests from, all over the world, Japan. Any the countries that you don't even know about.
I wonder if
And they
I
know
wonder
about
if they're sending in the videos where they make mistakes. I'll bet they're not doing that.
They've
I bet
edited
they're going to send you the goals maybe.
It's the first 2 minutes of the video, there's ways to prepare videos as well. If you're gonna prepare a video to send to somebody, you make sure you gotta highlight yourself so that the coach is not looking.
Where is he?
Which one of these 22 players is he?
And cut it down. You don't have to do 20 minutes. Though.
Sure.
It's just it's a few minutes. If it gets the attention,
Right.
I recruited players like that, and it really worked. And then we offer tryouts as well. We had 3 tryouts, open tryouts this season, January, February, and March. We received probably over 300 players to look at it. But it works. So this is not my first PDL team. This is my 3rd PDL team coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I have players from when I coach Ocala Stampede that I picked from tryout. They're playing for a professional team now, and then I coach Jersey Express out of New Jersey. Players that I also picked from tryout that's playing professionally now. So it's a PDL I see as a shortcut for a professional team,
Okay.
and it's a good opportunity for the college players to keep up with their game and be ready for the season.
Very good. Good.
Yeah, and also those players they're looking to get to a college team. It's a very good experience. Now you playing with players that it's either they played professionally, or they're playing for college, and you get to train with them. Even if you don't get to play, to get picked for the roster, but you're still training with them. That's
Right.
the most important thing for their development.
And this year you're doing something new, which is you have a reserve team. All right. Is that what? I don't know if that's the right vernacular, but it's a reserve team where they have sort of like some players that compete against the first team, if you will, in practice.
Yes. The reason we decided to create the reserve team is that we wanted a better commitment from the young players and players that they weren't getting selected. A lot of times the players, they have the potential to play at the next level, but if they don't get picked to go to those few games, they kind of give up and stop coming.
Yeah.
And they have to sacrifice it. Sometimes it's going to take them 2 seasons just training before they can get their
Absolutely.
opportunity.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we created that program, so then we have a commitment from them that they're gonna stay all the way. So then we charge, it's $350 for the whole season, but now there's a commitment.
Right.
We want them to stay there. We have a player that they also from our high school that's going to Richard Blend.
Yeah.
I took him to Jersey Express, and he trained a whole season. He didn't get to dress and play. I said, look, Uziel, just stay with us. I believe they have what it takes to play at the next level. So he went, and then last season he played with our PDL team.
Right.
And he got to go into in several games, and he's even scored a goal.
Yes, he did.
Wow, that's
right away. Yeah.
fantastic.
Randy was there.
I sure was.
And
Got
now
videoed.
he's going to Richard Bland to play for their college team, and he's still going to play with our PDL.
Good.
But if you would like not have the patience and give up when he went to Jersey Express, then he
wouldn't be where he is. I mean,
yes.
that's amazing. I mean, because so many it's easy to give it lip service, but it's great to have a coach along, because you're going to have self-doubts, and I'm sure when he wasn't dressed and he was thinking, wait a minute, it was great to have somebody there to say, just stay with this.
Yes.
I believe in you, and boom, great things happen, and that's something.
it.
So
There you go.
It's about preparation and opportunity.
I'll tell you what.
That's right.
That being the case, we got one more segment with Coach DaSilva, and so we will be back. Randy and I will, like I said, we're going to be taking phone calls, and we're going to be giving out the, I'm not sure what you call it, the gift box. I'm going to
the
call
Village
it.
of Soccer Club gift box.
I like it. So we'll be back with the third and final segment with Coach DaSilva, and we'll be taking your calls. And we will be here right after Greg takes us out with our sponsors.
Thank you, Bob. You're listening to Red Zone Radio Sports here on WQBQ 1410, the voice of Lake County. We're sponsored by Bill Bryan Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. They're located at 3401 U.S. Highway 441 in Fruitland Park. Their phone number is 352-787-2223. We are back with Red Zone Radio Sports here on WQBQ 1410, the voice of Lake County, and we're talking soccer.
Absolutely. Hey, Greg, thanks so much. And I'll tell you what we're going to do is, you saw that Randy showed that great gift box that Coach DaSilva is putting up. It's a $60 value, and call in, and the third caller will get that gift box, and we'll make sure you tell Greg all the information, but call in at 352-315-1410. That's 352-315-1410, and third caller will get that gift box, and we'll announce at the end of the hour. Right. And we were talking how the time flies while we're on this air here, folks, but let's talk a little bit about the upcoming season.
Yeah. PDL season's coming up. Our first game will be May 10th.
Okay.
We're still waiting on the draw. That's going to happen April 12th.
Okay.
We're going to know who we're going to play on the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open. We think we're going to play against the Armada under 23, but we have to wait for the draw. But we're very excited. We played last season. We were successful. We won our conference. We had a good opportunity in the U.S. Open that this season. We hope we can go further. We have 19 teams that from MLS, 24 from Division II USL, 18 from NASL team participating.
Wow.
56 teams from our Open Division. 21 teams from the PDL and 18 from NPSL participating.
Think soccer's not taking off? Listen to that. That sounds like the whole state of Florida.
So yeah, we're very excited to announce our players very soon. The new players, the returning players, we're receiving emails, phone calls, fans asking us who's returning.
Sure,
that's
a big deal.
Absolutely.
But it's.
When will you be making that announcement?
We're gonna make this announcement the second week of April.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And it'll be on your website, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it will be on the website.
Great.
Correct. Yes.
Great. Yeah, I was checking it out the other day, your website, and I saw the roster, and I'm like, I wonder who's going to be on it. Coming soon.
We have, we can display that there's four. We can mention that there's 4 new teams in Florida. One of them being the Siemens Aguila, which is from Montverde Academy. They're I think now is the closest team to us. It's going to be our
It's
our
gonna be a good
rival.
rivalry.
They're going to be
Yeah.
a rivalry. All
We're
right.
looking forward to play them. It will be our first game, regular PDL game against them. Besides the U.S. Open on May 10th, that game is going to be May 13th, and we're hoping to have a very competitive match. That's we don't want easy games. We
Well,
want teams
I
to
like that.
prepare us for playoffs.
Absolutely.
We want it to be challenged from start.
Absolutely.
And what is it? To get better, you got to play better.
That's exactly right. Well, it doesn't do you any good to play teams that aren't going to challenge you. You got to
Not
play
at all.
teams that are going to challenge you.
That's it.
Absolutely.
All the way to the big dance, too.
You better believe it.
Your website is thevillagesSC.com.
Yes.
All right? And that's where folks can get more information.
Tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about
See-
the streaming. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but-
it's okay.
but
Yeah, that's
I-
very important.
Yeah.
We do streams all over our game through our YouTube channel,
Okay.
and then they also, when we're playing away, they can go to Gator Dockside to watch together with
What a deal.
with our fans.
What a deal.
It's
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it-
sit around at Gators Dockside and watch the team win. That's what a great way. What a great way to spend the afternoon. I mean, I love it. I think that's great.
Hey, I just want to say we got 2 quick calls, so the next one that
next,
calls
next
in.
caller.
Yeah.
Next caller gets
Yeah,
it.
so,
352-315-1410. You get that beautiful
And-
soccer club
and if-
gift pack.
And if you're not and if you're bashful, you don't have to talk on the radio.
No, we won't get you to talk on the radio.
But if
But,
you have a question, they'd love to take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there it comes.
Okay, so just give it to Greg, give the information, and at the end of the hour, we'll announce to everybody who the winner is. But getting back to that, so the exposure is there for you with the streaming and the fact that you've got so many people now that are on the bandwagon. But how do you? I think we were talking off the air about this. To me, I would think one of the challenges being a coach is you've got so many things, especially in this country, pulling young people and trying to take their time. And I think soccer is, maybe I'm wrong, and correct me. I would think if you want to get good at something, you're going to have to spend more than a couple minutes a week playing soccer. I mean, do you find that you've got a lot of different things pulling at some of the players' attention, trying to keep, I guess what I'm saying is that how do you keep them engrossed in soccer it may get that commitment, so to speak?
No, we have a lot of sports for them to choose from.
Okay.
It is a good thing for them to do other sports to get different coordinations.
Oh,
And
there
to
you
a
go.
certain
Yeah.
age, I think by the time they reach high school, they really have to make a decision and specialize, not just be good at every other sport, but be great in one if they want to move on and play at the next level. But it has to be fun for them. If they play for teams or club that they don't enjoy to be with their friends or their coach, they just gonna walk away. It has to be fun. With the Village Soccer Club, we created programs that we organize for them to show up, and we don't coach them.
Okay.
Here's the ball. We're gonna blow the whistle if the ball goes out, and enjoy. So then they can dribble when they want to dribble. They can take shots when they want to take shots. They're enjoying the game. I think that's the difference. If we want to talk about South American players, is that they have more free play. They play on the street on their own.
Sure.
The Village Soccer Club, we started doing that 5 years ago. We have time that here we go. Just play, just enjoy. I think that's a good way to keep their interest and have that they will keep coming back.
A question I have, and like I said, I'm from a coach's perspective. You want to win. The idea is winning, but you also you want to give other players an opportunity to try to develop in the game. So you've got to put people in situations where it may not be the maximum best way to go if you're trying to win the game, but you're trying to. I guess the fine line between developing players and winning the game. Is that something that you encounter all the time, or does that? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm doing.
Yes,
I want to
do.
make sure.
I
Okay.
do. on the youth level.
Yes.
I think if we talk about to 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
it you know you accepted that player on your team. Now you have to develop them.
Right.
You have to leave the score to a side.
Good. I was wondering if that's how
Yeah.
you have to. I
And you
would
have
think.
to give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
You can use the different parts of the game. It's towards the end of the first half, or
Right.
towards the beginning of the second half, but everyone should play. I think when they're getting to the more of that transition, the middle school to high school, it's a little bit more. You're still developing, but now you have you're in the district playoffs. You're representing the school. You're not going to have as much playing time anymore if you don't earn it.
If you don't earn it, you're right. Yeah, I agree
At
with
that
that.
point, we're not giving you the chance anymore. You're earning the chance.
Right. Yeah.
The
Now you're not
opportunity to be there.
obligated to put them in.
Yes.
They've got to earn their way onto the field.
We
Right.
have a player on our PDL team that I coached that he was recruited to be the player.
Mhm.
We had a high
He had the skills. Yeah.
expectation,
Mm-hmm.
and at practice he didn't train well. We put him in the game. He didn't play well. The second game, he didn't even get picked for the 18 men roster, and I pulled him to a side. I said, "Look, we recruited you because you have potential. You were a good player, and I'm sorry to do this to you, but the next game you're starting." That's all I said, and I left. He ended up being the most valuable
Yeah.
player of the league.
Good for you. I mean,
after that opportunity.
that's called a wake-up call.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because you get some guys that they've been told how much potential and how good they are that they figure all they have to do is show up, and that's sometimes it takes a little bit more than that.
Yeah. So it's sometimes it's just that talking that you have to have one-on-one
I love it.
to wake them up.
Well, but and now, like I said, we've talked about a lot of things. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about that may be on your list that we didn't really touch on? Because I don't want you to feel like you haven't had the opportunity to. I'm throwing a lot of questions at you, and I apologize for that. But I'm genuinely curious. But let's talk about. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about you. So, what are you going to do when you finally get these? When the season's over, what do you like to do to kind of unwind?
Oh no! Right when the season's over, we already have the Village Cup,
There you go.
which we have.
That's why the Village Cup. I knew
Yeah,
there was
we have-
another one in there.
We have about 80 teams that comes from all over. Actually, this team we have a few teams come from overseas, and this last season we had 117 games in 3 days. It's a lot. It's a lot to
It is
organize.
a great soccer tournament.
Ah.
Ran wonderfully.
Is the field maintained? I mean,
yeah.
I was going to say, holy mackerel, that's a lot
Look,
of cleats.
There's no excuse when you make a bad pass. It's definitely not the grass.
It is the
That-
village's
I
polo
would.
field.
I
It is-
would.
It's like carpet out there. Yeah.
But we're just starting, so just keep an eye on our Facebook page for any updates. We have our camps, summer camps as well that you can check on the www.thevillages.sc as a soccer club.
Sure, I see. Sure.
And that camp is going to be June 26th to the 29th. You can go register, your kids.
Is that going to be out the polo fields or?
It's
the
going to be
Millennium?
at Millennium Park.
Millennium
Yes,
Park.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
They're just out of Wildwood. Okay. Do we have time for another question?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
I think we got time.
Just real
Yeah.
quick. A lot of kids, maybe they're listening or their parents are listening, and they have these desires to play at the next level, collegiate level. They're in high school and perhaps when they're in junior high. What do you believe that kids need today to focus in on to be able to play at that next level?
Yeah, good question.
Well, I usually tell my players it's step at a time.
Mhm.
When they come from middle school, they go to the high school. Their mission or their goal should be to make it to the team. It's either JV or varsity. Once they make that JV that first year, they should work hard, no matter how good your team is. or you have to get the attention from the head coach of the varsity team. You have to get yourself on a varsity team. And once you get there, you have to get yourself to the starting lineup so then you can have more playing time, so then we can have more exposure. Because like when we play here at the Villages High School, we had several games that we had college coaches watching our team. And if
that's great.
you're not playing, you can't be seen.
No,
Right.
that's
So,
right.
and then once you get there, you have to get your video together, so then you can send to coaches.
Sure.
Now you have, being on a varsity team, especially as a starter, you have three opportunities. One, the head coach is recommending you. Another is if you have a college coach coming to watch you play. And then the third would be you have your video that you can send out. And you have to do it. It's a work. You have to work for yourself and prepare yourself to get that opportunity. A lot of times we have good players. They have a potential to play at the next level, but they just let it go. They think it's just going to happen automatically with magic. You really have to be organized and start early. Don't wait to get to senior year to start preparing your video. Once you get to that team, you always have to have an updated video. The coaches, they don't want to see videos from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because he doesn't know if you got hurt or if you got overweight. And
They want to know
it's
what's the date on
games.
this. Like,
Yes.
I love it. Yep. Hey, Greg, do we have a name and address? And
Yeah.
Okay, who was the winner of the pack as we hear the music?
Will Smith.
Will Smith?
Will
I don't
Smith.
believe it.
Well.
It's a made-up name. Will Smith, well, we thank him. And Will Smith actually did come
Yeah.
on and he got it. So, okay, you've got all the information, so
Yeah.
we'll get that back to Will Smith. But how about a special thanks to Coach Anderson DaSilva for spending the time? And I'd say he's got a full soccer plate. Don't you think so, Randy?
Absolutely. Looking forward to the new season coming up.
Thank you so much for spending the hour with us. Really appreciate
for
it.
having
Thank
me.
you so
Thanks,
much,
Bob.
Coach.
Thank you.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
Randy.
Enjoyed it, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Greg.
Thank you.
And we'll be back
It was a
after these
pleasure.
messages. Again, thanks to Coach DaSilva, and we'll be back with part 2 of the show.
That's right. You're listening to Red Zone Radio Sports here on WQBQ 1410, the voice of Lake County. We're sponsored by Bill Bryan Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. They're located at 3401 U.S. Highway 441 in Fruitland Park. Their phone number is 352-787-2223, and we will be right back after these messages.